Welcome back to the 2015 NAB show. I'm Scott Ellis.
And I'm John P. We've got lots of excitement, lots of interviews, great interviews, and another one right now.
Let's go. I'm very excited to have Michelle Edelman here from Vubiquity, because it sounds to me like you guys are solving a problem that a lot of people are addressing, and that is content monetization.
That is true. That is true. I like to be a problem solver, so
that's a big one,
especially when it has to do with money.
Yes, that is true. So Vubiquity is a premium content services company, and I always say that the easiest way to explain it is if you have content, you come to us, and if you need content, you come to us. If you have content, basically we aggregate it for you. We put it out there into the landscape for video on demand, linear streaming, SVOD, EST. We basically bring it to market. We've got relationships with about 500 content distributors, major studios, all the television networks, broadcasting, cable, the independent guys. We build channels as well, put them through our processing system, and then output them to about 500 distributors, what we call service providers globally. We're in 37 countries. We translate into 15 languages. We basically have launched the video on demand landscape in the United States and all over the world.
Wow.
So if I'm creating a show, building an audience, starting to get some traction, and I want to take my monetization maybe further than I've been able to do on my own.
In the pay TV landscape.
Then I would come to you guys.
Yeah, we'd actually work with you on something like that. We've got, there's some unique properties that are launching online that have just started coming to us and saying, hey, can you get us into the television landscape? We actually can. I mean, we've got some unique models, some unique business models, some unique customers that we're working with that want kind of web-based shows in the pay TV landscape, and that's what we're doing.
What sorts of things do you look for in a show that comes to you? In terms of vetting them, whether or not this is going to be a good fit, or is it just based on audience? Or
really depends. Audience is a big factor. So, for example, we were the first ones to start the karaoke channel. Like, karaoke was not a channel on television, and we packaged it up in an on-demand scenario and brought it to market. Screensavers were a big thing on screens, but not on television, so we made them available. Things like that. So things that are niche, unique, that might be good for the marketplace.
So. One of the things, we've been doing this for a little while, and there are a lot of people who come to us and ask us, how do we follow in your footsteps? And of course, the first thing I tell them is we take a diversified approach to revenue generation, because if you rely on any one individual source of income, you're kind of at risk.
Sure.
And but in order to generate any revenue from doing this kind of production, you have to first get some kind of an audience. You've got to have some minimum level of production value, and of course, you need to create compelling content.
Absolutely.
What kind of content do you guys find to be easiest to monetize? Is there a particular kind, if people are looking at getting into this business, which a lot of people are, what would you say to them?
It's interesting. We coin ourselves as premium content services, but the question is, what is premium content today? Premium content for us, as we start out, it's movies, feature-length movies, it's television shows that have made it on air. It's the networks, it's everything they bring to market, it's the independent. So we say right now it's really the content that people are basically buying, renting, and purchasing for the most part. That's going to change. We're going to start building channels around new content. Awesomeness just did this deal with Verizon. When Awesomeness hit the marketplace, they were just a web-based kind of online content distributor. Well, they've gotten relatively big. They were acquired. Now they're doing deals with larger distribution companies. To watch that happen is really miraculous, and I think it's going to go even further. So we've been getting calls from companies like that are saying, what can we do? How can we take the content that's available on what we call the mini screens, bring them to the large screen at the same time? So audiences are important. Brand awareness is important. Any sort of following is going to be good for us. When we get the calls from the guys that are popular, it sparks an interest right now. For the most part, where our business is really kind of flourishing is Hollywood hits, TV shows that everyone's kind of clamoring for, independent films. So that's where we really do the majority of our business.
So let's say that you got a call from Conan OBrien, and he
I'd love to get that call.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be nice? And he says, hey, we do a little show, and we'd like to get it more distribution to more channels, et cetera.
Yeah.
What would you tell him? Where could you take Conan O'Brien's show? What would you do with it?
Right. You know, I wish Conan O'Brien would call me.
That
I don't
would be
know if
nice.
he's going to.
Yeah.
But you know, everything's about rights in our business. There's the whole term about windows and rights and where things go. And depending upon what kind of deal he's got and where he is in his, you know, kind of his overarching like show structure. But let's say an independent guy calls and he says, "Listen, I've got 5 million followers on YouTube or whatever, and I want to develop the show, and we'll take a look at him. We'll say, give us some of your stuff. There's opportunity there. Like we can definitely go down that road. I'm waiting for that call from Conan. When he calls, we'll bring him in. And
I'll tell him to give you a call. I'll tell him to reach out.
That would be great.
What I've heard so far is that there are licensing is a big monetization channel. Mm-hmm. What are the other options? Are you actually selling ads into the shows, or
the advertising business is starting to become a big thing. So the way that we work is we license the content, and people, as I said, if you want content, you come to us. Why? A, there's so much of it. B, if looking for it in, as I say, uncovering every rock is very, very difficult. We've got it all coming. I always position us as we're like the bow tie. If you think of a bow tie, you've got like one open arm. We've got all this content coming through. We're the processing. We're the pipes. We take it, we process it, we package it with the metadata, and then we put it out there. So the other side to the bow tie releases it to all these distributors worldwide. That's what people are looking for. They're looking for the end result where they can get their content out there to, just so many different distributors in the marketplace. So think of, every cable operator that's out there today, every telco provider that's offering content, the satellite providers will be going into the digital landscapes pretty soon. So we'll have the capabilities to basically distribute everywhere. So let's say you've got a film, you're in a film market, and you've just taken it to Cannes or whatnot, and all of a sudden you get a distributor. That distributor comes through us, we push it out, and your film goes. That's the beauty of what we do.
Now, one of the other things that people are very interested in when it comes to any kind of monetization is understanding their return on investment.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of requests for analytics and things. How do you guys handle that?
We have a ton of data. I mean, so my job specifically, I run marketing for the group. I spent 15 years at a major studio. My job was to turn movies into money, as I would say. So when the films go out there in the marketplaces, what can I do to work with any one of the distributors to drive more usage, to increase buy rates. And the more you do, the more you promote. Listen, marketing is king, we know that. So the more you do, the more you promote, the more awareness you're going to get, the more buys you're going to make. We get the data from all of that. So I can tell you kind of at what point in time certain films that will do the best. We know, for example, horror films don't do well on small screens. Isn't that amazing?
It's not that scary, right?
It's not that scary, exactly. We're also embarking in this new model called electronic sell-through. Well, what is that? So electronic sell-through is essentially where people can buy buy movies and keep them on their devices. Well, you know what's driving that market? Moms. Interesting. Who were the first people to buy DVDs and put them on the shelf so a kid can watch them 47 times?
Yeah.
Moms.
Makes sense.
So now I call it the digital mom. The digital mom is coming into the marketplace. They're realizing they can buy, and they can take it with them in the car, in the grocery store.
Entertain those little kiddies.
Want to watch Frozen
Gotta
for
keep
this?
them busy.
Yeah, for the 72nd time. Here you go.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
And it sounds like, kind of jumping off of what John was saying, that we're on the content creation side, but from a buyer's side, one of the big values you're providing is that you've really vetted the audience and the content that's coming in, so it's much easier for them to say, here's what I'm looking for, you find the right match. They don't have to worry about doing all that homework and all that back-end research.
As I said, there is a ton of content available today, starting from like the major studios down to certain people that are developing films, and we'll pretty much look at everything.
Okay, so if somebody is out there watching this right now, or later when we create an episode,
and they're like, I've got a super popular show, I want to make money off this thing.
Exactly.
I'm going to give you the name and number of our sales guy.
There you go.
But are there any particular things that you guys are looking for right now that have maybe been a little bit harder to find, that somebody who might be producing that content would say, hey, I definitely need to
we work with a number of distributors that are out there that I tend to push content towards. I've seen everything. I've seen everything from like the independent films to these very eclectic events, like the strongman contests and the professional eating contests and everything. But there's an audience for everyone. It's amazing the things that actually do relatively well.
Yeah.
If you've got something and you think you have an audience and the audience is that big, give us a call. Our sales guys, of course.
Right.
Call the sales guys.
Where do they reach out to you guys? So what's the website? How do you want them to reach out?
Vubiquity.com. We just launched our new website. It's fabulous. There's a contact us. Contact us, please.
There you go.
We're always looking for new stuff. If you want content, come to us. If you have content, come to us. We are the premium content services company.
That is a pretty good position to be in.
Well,
It's a great place.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank
and you
you.
guys, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned. We've got more coming your way. We'll be right back.